Are you ready to be you? Part 2. Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is your mind. Are you ready to be you? Today, we're continuing that conversation, and I'm asking again, are you ready to be the person that you really are? Now, I'm not talking about the persona that you've created in order to exist in today's world, in order to function on this material plane. I'm talking about the real you. I'm talking about the one who is hiding inside of you, the one who transcends that little personality that you pretend to be in order to be accepted. When I talked about the issue of the real you being accepted, I referred last week to the lyrics of the song entitled, "This Is Me." Now, I want to repeat those now. It's like, I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, because we don't want your broken heart. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm going to send a flood, going to drown them out. I am brave. I am bruised. I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. This is me. Please click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. Remember, I would love to hear from you, your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your stories. So please use the chat box on the right side of the screen or the comment section below the video. Also, I want to remind you that this ministry is for you. It is designed to bring to you the empowerment that you so richly deserve. So you can continue to support this ministry by going to our website at bozemandevelopment.com and choosing Please Donate. Or you can use my Cash App at $Andre Amron. So, back to work. For too many of us, standing up for who we are is very, very difficult. And I must admit that the primary reason for most of us doing that, not being able to stand up for who we really are, is that we don't know who we really are. We think we know who we are, and mostly we think we are what we see. But what we do see, we don't like. Not usually. We don't like it, and we don't think that if anybody else knew that quote-unquote real self, that they wouldn't like us either. So when we look at our lives, when we look at our behavior, we see that for too much of the time we are not being our real selves. Instead, we're acting. We're performing. Shakespeare reminds us of that in his play As You Like It, when the character Jacques states, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts." So in order to function in this world and to have some level of acceptance, we find ourselves playing roles. I mean, and not just one role, but many roles, depending on what the situation is in which we find ourselves. We're one person on the job, another person with our friends, another person with our parents, another person with strangers, another person when we're out partying, another person here, there, and everywhere. Now, to a certain extent, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all part of the process of learning who we are. Because we don't know when we first get here who we are. But at some point in our lives, at least for some of us, that's no longer okay. You'll get to a point where that is no longer okay. It's no longer okay to pretend. It's no longer okay to seek acceptance and do whatever it takes to get acceptance, to do whatever it takes to so-called fit in. Something inside begins to ask the question, is that really who I am? And that is when the deep exploration begins. Yeah. That's when it's no longer okay to live your life or express yourself to meet the approval of other people. It is then that it becomes necessary to reach, much more important to reach that being who represents you, who is yourself. That person. Because you see, until you know who you are, who you really are, you're vulnerable. You can be easily manipulated into being something or doing something that does not really fit you. You're just doing it to fit in. You're doing it to gain acceptance. You know, everybody has their own agenda. And if you're twisting yourself into knots in order to fit into someone else's agenda, then you're really compromising your own personal identity in the process. And eventually you will be of no value to anyone because you will have given up all your power. So hopefully you haven't given up all your power yet. So, who are you really? Well, the truth of the matter is, above all else, you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. There's that phrase again, right? You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are an expression of God. Yes, with all your quirks and flaws and missteps and mistakes, you are still an expression of God. And that is the first step to finding out who you really are, is learning or accepting that you are an individualized expression of God, that you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. In order to truly discover who you are, who you truly are, you first of all must accept that you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. So why is this so important? Because with infinite intelligence, there is no ceiling, there's no limit to what you can be. None. But without infinite intelligence, there's always a limit. There's only so far that you can go. There are limits because everything else is finite. The only thing that infinite is God, is infinite intelligence. Everything else has limits. So step one is to begin telling yourself that you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. And taking this step, taking this very first step, should immediately bring up internal resistance. Something inside of you saying, no, that cannot be true. Not what I know about myself. That cannot be true. I cannot be an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. Yeah. Considering all the things that I've done? No. Cannot be true. Considering all the mistakes I've made? No. Cannot be true. But it is true. It is true about you. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. So how do we get over that first step, that internal resistance? Well, that brings up step number 2. Step number 2 is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. No matter what it is that you have done, infinite intelligence forgives you. Forgives what you have done. Forgives when you did it. Infinite intelligence knows that you were doing the best you could at the time with the information that you had available. So let yourself off the hook. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And then that brings us to step number 3. Forgive those who have hurt you. It's important that you understand here that forgiving is not condoning. what was done. Forgiving is not condoning. Actually, forgiving is not for the other person at all. It is for you. If you harbor anger or resentment or blame against someone else, it has no effect upon them. They might not even know that you feel that way about it. It's all inside of you. Everything is inside of you. It is all you. Every thought, every emotion, everything that runs through you, through your mind, creates a chemical reaction in your body. Negative thoughts, negative emotions create destructive chemicals to be initiated, to be generated, to be manufactured inside your body. And those chemical reactions will eventually burn you out. And it will create all kinds of diseases within your body. So you got to let it go. Eventually you got to let it go. Let it go. Forgiving and letting go are the same thing. Forgiving and letting go are the same thing. It is for you. You are relieving your mind, your body, and your life of the burden of dealing with internal negative and destructive chemical reactions. Of course, those 3 steps are very difficult. I know that. You know that. They challenge our materialistic mindset and conditioning. Yeah, they're hard. In dealing with your everyday rat race of life, we see little or no evidence that that we are expressions of God. We see little or no evidence that forgiving anybody is worthwhile because it makes us look like wimps. You're not a warrior, you're a wimp. And forgiving ourselves is nearly impossible because we know what we've done. We know. That's why most people don't even bother going through those steps. They just give up. They give up and get along to get along. So, there's one more step that I haven't covered in there, and actually it goes back to step number 1. Let's call this step 1A. Step 1A is meditate. Now, according to Dr. Paul Leon Masters, founder of the University of Metaphysics in Sedona, Arizona, he says, without meditation, the human mind is left with only the intellect to guide its way. Whatever one has experienced or learned comprises the intellect, which must then make decisions in life from minor to major. The sum total of such decisions reflects the entirety of one's life. Now, one of the things I'm sure that we can agree on is that there is more to you than just your intellect. You have the ability to take what you've learned and make it into something more. More than just your intellect. More than what you've experienced, there's another step that you take when you absorb all this information, when you absorb experiences, and then you convert them into something else. What is that conversion process? It's something higher than just the intellect. Again, according to Dr. Masters, down through the ages, the truly wise who've explored the heights and depths of the human mind have agreed that there is far more to the human mind than the intellect alone. Those who are creative can particularly attest to this, and as such, so much of the creativity they have expressed has come from a source beyond the capacity of their intellect. Beyond the capacity of their intellect. So meditate. This will take you to a higher level so that you can begin to truly see who and what you really are. Now, Caroline Myss, the international spiritual teacher, likens our spiritual perspective or growth to being in a New York City high-rise. Now, she says, on the ground floor, you can be overwhelmed by the noise and the sights of the frenetic street traffic and the persistent smell of garbage. But if you get on the elevator and ride up to the penthouse, you're no longer aware of the traffic, the noise, the smells, the chaos, Up in the penthouse, you're now immersed in the panorama and beauty of the views that extend for miles. For all sides of you, you can see for miles and miles, and it's magnificent. Not only that, the skies above are now visible, and the beauty of the skies above you are now there for you to enjoy. The penthouse view. That's what meditation does for you. It takes you to the penthouse view. It takes you through the heights that you can't reach through your intellect alone. And it is at those heights that you can begin to believe that you are indeed an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. It is at those heights that you can begin to see your way clear to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all the past mistakes that bring you shame and bring you guilt. Because now you can see that, hey, I was doing the best that I could at the time, but now I know better. So I'll do better. I'll be better. I am better. And it is at those heights, in that penthouse view, that you can begin to see the value of letting go of the anger and the resentment that you hold against those who have hurt you. Forgive them. Forgive them. For it doesn't matter to them what they did. Perhaps it doesn't matter if they're aware of what they did. No, they're not the important aspect of this. What they did was they taught you a lesson, probably, when you look back at it. And you can forgive them because you can let go of that negative emotion. You can let go. You can let go. You can let go. It's like holding on to a lamppost in the middle of a strong wind, and you're holding it to keep yourself down. Well, let go and allow yourself to fly. Yeah, fly. And meditation doesn't have to take the form of sitting cross-legged on the floor and clearing your mind or whatever. Most of us can't do that anyway. Meditation is whatever exercise you have available to you that takes you out of yourself, out of the chaos that surrounds you. My wife finds that working in the garden is a form of meditation because she just disappears into the flowers. She's totally there. In the morning even, she sometimes listens to Gregorian chants because the chants uplift her spirit. So some people find that working out takes them to another level of their minds, that takes them out of it. Some people find that taking a walk in nature does it for them. Walking through the woods or walking alongside a body of water all accomplish the same thing. Taking you out of your mind, taking you out of your body, taking you to a higher level. No matter how you choose to do it, it's important that you do it. Why? Why is it so important? Well, when you meditate, you open your mind up to the higher levels of energy that are always there, always available to help you, always available to guide you, always available to you if only you would open up to them. They're just waiting there. I had a dream the other day in which I saw some people walking around with beams of light coming into the tops of their heads from above. There were also people who did not have that beam of light shining down upon them. And then when a wind came along and stirred up lots of debris, all kinds of things, garbage cans, etc., coming at them, the people who had the light shining down upon them were easily able to avoid being hit by the dangerous debris that was running at them. And they moved smoothly along their way, almost effortlessly. On the other hand, the ones who did not have that light beam shining down upon their head, they were being hit constantly by the debris. Even when they were able to dodge some, they found that they had stepped into the path of another that they didn't see. So they were having a rough time of it. It's the way it is in life. If you are being guided by a higher source, by a higher frequency, then you'll find that life tends to be easier for you, a little easier. Even the rough times are easier. So what is this light that was shining down on their heads? Well, it was their higher self. It was them. It was their connection with their spiritual higher selves. It's a connection that can only be made by opening up through meditation. Remember last week, I told you that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And as a spiritual being, you have placed part of yourself into this human body. Not your entire self. You haven't squeezed your entire self down into this human body. That would be impossible, I guess. But you're riding in this physical vehicle that we call a body. But there's so much more of you that is outside of this body, that is above it and around it. That's your spiritual self. That's your higher self. And it's always there to give you guidance. It's always there to give you insight. It's always there to help you maneuver through life. It loves you. It loves you because it is you. It wants to protect you because it is you. Yeah. So even though you're in a body, you're not alone. So that brings us back to the subject of being who you really are. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And those of you who find yourself hearing this message have actually come into this life to help change the world. I mean, you don't know it yet, maybe, but you're actually here for that reason. You've come to help elevate the consciousness of this planet because you have the capability, by opening yourself up and allowing the higher energy forces to come into you and through you, you have the power to help change this world. When you came into this life, you elected to become a channel for the divine light. The divine light is going to uplift our consciousness. And by being a channel for the divine light, your electromagnetic field influences those who come in contact with you. Of course, your electromagnetic field influences everybody around you anyway, but to influence them in a very positive way, you become a channel for the divine light. So you're going to uplift people, you're going to energize them, you're going to enlighten them by your very presence. You'll even help heal people around you just by being there, just by being who you really are. Of course, it's up to you whether or not you will accept that truth, that task, because you do have free will. So, by allowing yourself to be open to the divine light of infinite intelligence, and allowing it to shine through you and around you, your life is going to be a whole lot better than living in the darkness of being your intellect alone. But even more importantly, the people around you are going to benefit from your presence, benefit from feeling the love of your presence. And they want to be near you. They want to be around you. So it won't be a matter of you trying to fit in. No, just be yourself, and it will draw to you like a magnet those who seek to bask in the glow of your presence. So are you ready? Are you ready to be that being, that you who is hiding inside of you? Are you ready to express the real you who is a great spiritual being who is squeezed down into a human body for the growth experience, but also for the task of helping to elevate the consciousness of this planet by virtue of your very presence? Are you ready? Are you ready? If you are, then I tell you, accept yourself. Love yourself. Know yourself. And most importantly, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And then you too will be able to say the heartfelt lyrics of that song, This Is Me. I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, because we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. For we are glorious. We are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm going to send a flood, going to drown them out. I am brave. I am bruised. I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. This is me. The world needs for you to be you. Right here, right now. Let's close with prayer. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing all of us together in this life so that we become spiritual warriors and join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we're beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. We know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise, because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the thumbs up button below the video. And if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. Remember, I would love to hear from you, your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions. So please use the comment section below the video. And as I've said before, this ministry is for you and for your empowerment. Your empowerment. So you can support this ministry by going to my website at bozemandevelopment.com and choosing the Please Donate link. Or you can use my Cash App at $Andre Amron. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind.